Hello, it's Jeannie. How are you? I truly hope you're well. I'm doing pretty well, and I just wanted to jump on and do a kind of a short video and give you an update on where I've been kind of MIA these past couple of weeks, I know. And it really touched me that some of you were reaching out going, Jeannie, where are you? We miss your new videos. So thank you for that. My husband had a class reunion up in Montana, where he is from. He was born and raised in Montana. And where he went to school in Bozeman, they actually get together every year. Now, not every year is an honor year like 10, 20, 25, 30, 40, 50-year reunion. But because it was a private boarding school, they were very close-knit. So the class of 73 might be, very, very close to somebody in 1974, 75, 76, 72. And so they often go up even though it's not their honor year. And that was the case for my husband. He had friends who were celebrating 50 years, which he will be soon as well. And it's just really heartwarming to see how close everyone is at that school, even 35, 45, 50 years later. Many of them have stayed in touch their entire lives. Many catch up when they come back to this reunion. And one of the things that I found so heartwarming is that a lot of these kids came to the school from various backgrounds, various broken home, various kinds of broken homes, various levels of, wealth, from very, very poor to, probably middle class or maybe better. And nobody was judged on what they had or didn't have. And that was the common theme, I think, that kept everybody very close. There's a girl, when she went to school there, who was Indian, Native American Indian. And in a public school, she used to be teased for her darker skin and darker coloring. Not at this school. There was another girl, woman now, that I spoke with, who used to get picked on because she was so poor. I mean, her parents were dirt poor. And as if she had some choice in that matter. But at this school, this small boarding school, they weren't teased. Nobody cared. They were accepted for who they were. And that is one of the things that just bound them in love. And they became each other's families. So I know that's a lot of blah, blah, blah to just say it's an honor to be among them as a friend, as a spouse. And since I started going back with my husband many years ago, they just accepted me as one of their own. So that's really touching. My high school was wonderful, but I don't think there's as many close relationships as there are in my husband's. There's a group of us that stay in touch, but not like this. So anyway, I just wanted to share some of the photos with you and kind of show some of the things we did. And I'll tell you something, I love Montana. I don't think I could live there because of the weather. But if you can visit, I do it. Yellowstone is just magnificent. We didn't go all the way into the park. We went as far as Gardner and the Yellowstone River, and I'll show you. So we took a flight down there on a Thursday morning, and we arrived to snow and cold. I think it was 30, 31 degrees and snowing when we landed. And there was about half a mile visibility, and it was shrinking. So I'm really grateful that we got in when we did and were able to land and not have to divert or have the flight delayed or canceled. We got our car rental, and I have to tell you something too. We've traveled a lot, and the Bozeman airport is one of my favorite airports in the entire world. It's very lodgy and rustic and woodsy and just warm, like a big lodge. Fireplaces and little artifacts and things like that all around. It's a beautiful airport. I love it. So the first thing we did is we drove to our Airbnb in downtown Bozeman. And it was a great place to stay. A tiny little cabin type of a place. It had a living room, a little kitchenette, a little place to sit to eat if we were going to eat there. And then upstairs was the bedroom. And in the bathroom there was a sauna, a steam sauna or dry sauna. And I love steam saunas. They are something that I seek out whenever we travel. And when we went to Russia, that was one of the things. Russia and the Baltics, most of the hotels there had saunas, and I just loved that. So anyway, that first evening, there was a get-together for people who were already in town, and so we went to that. And my husband was in a 7-Up versus Sprite blind tasting test to see which one everyone preferred. I don't know the significance of the two, why they chose that, but it was fun. And I bet that it would be the 7-Up that won, and it was. So he won a 7-Up cap. The next morning, we went and had some pastry and excellent coffee at a little cafe around the corner from where we were staying. And these pastries were to die for. They were so good. I didn't take a picture of mine, but I think I had a blueberry, cream cheese, lemon pastry, and it was just divine. I think I inhaled it in like 10 seconds. It was so good, and I don't eat like that very often. And I did have a sugar high and a sugar low. After that, I crashed. And then, let's see, we did a little driving around. The events weren't starting until a little bit later, and I mean, they were all day, but we didn't show up till a little bit later. And they were doing some of the alumni bring things that they make. Many of them are artists. They make pottery, and there's great photography and artwork, and so they're set up in one of the buildings, and you can go and buy some of these things, which we do and did. The weather was starting to get a little better. The snow had stopped, and so we decided to go out to lunch, and we went to Ted's Montana Grill in downtown Bozeman on Main Street, and Ted Turner owns this, and we had a lovely lunch there. And it's in the Hotel Baxter. And if you're following me on Instagram, you saw my little, do you know where we are? And the Hotel Baxter on Main Street is awesome. It's really old, like 1929. And inside the lobby, they've got this little chocolate shop. And oh my gosh, my friend Unkie in Belgium, it's this tiny shop. It's probably not as big as yours, but I think you would love these chocolates. They were so good. So we bought, I don't know, 3 or 4 and indulged in those. And then, let's see, after that, we decided to take a drive up to Bridger Bowl. And that is a ski area where my husband used to go skiing. Where he went to school, there is also a ski hill that he would ski on. And they skied there most of the time, but once in a while they would take a trip up to Bridger Bowl and go skiing there. So we drove up there, and we did not ski. My knee would not allow that, of course. But it was just such a beautiful drive, and the weather was starting to get nicer, and the blue sky was starting or trying to poke through. Now, when we came home, the first thing we did was got into the sauna, and it was just fantastic, and I like a lot of steam. And after that, we went to Vespers, Friday night, Vespers church service, and then the next morning was the official kind of the big reunion in the gym. And here are some of my husband with his friends, various friends. Oh, they're just such wonderful, wonderful people. And after that, we went and did a little driving around again, went back to our hotel, our room, our Airbnb, and took a nap. And then later that evening came back and got together with some of the friends in the cafeteria and played some games. And it was really funny. This is Gary, and it was he had set up the game password, and so people had one side gave a clue and the other had to guess what it was.
Okay, Mary. Cram time. Did you say crown? Cram. Study hall.
Such a fun game. Watching them struggle. So the next day, a lot of people were either leaving, a few I think were getting together for breakfast, but we decided to head toward Yellowstone. And we went through the Paradise Valley, the Livingston area, and the sun was coming out and the sky was blue and the snow was melting. It was just gorgeous. And the drive, as you go through the Paradise Valley, if you've watched Yellowstone, the series Yellowstone with Kevin Costner, let me know. We did. And the 1883, what was that? The other one. And then the 1923, we watched all those. And so when we watch them, it's interesting listening to my husband say, oh, there's where my grandparents lived, and so forth. He knows this area really well, having lived there. One of the things we did is went to his grandparents' gravesite. They lived in just above Livingston in the hills there, in the Paradise Valley, and they were buried just above the little town called Pray, P-R-A-Y, and it's a tiny little cemetery. And we had to look all around to find the grave sites. So it was really special when we did. We've done it a couple of times, and so I've dropped a pin there from my phone so I can find it again next time. Easier. And we had lunch in Livingston at this cafe. And it was absolutely delicious. It was called the East Side Cafe. Now, if you live in Bozeman and you or around there and you go to Livingston, go to the East Side Cafe. It was amazing. It's a house that was converted to a restaurant, and it was so worth it. So anyway, then after we ate, we got on the road and headed up toward the park. And we stopped in the areas where we could have access to the Yellowstone River. I love this river. I don't know why. I'm just so drawn to it. I just love the Yellowstone. And the weather was beautiful and the sky was blue. I just had to put my feet into the river. It was freezing because it's all snow melt, but it just felt so good. I was joking to my husband that I was having a Yona moment, and she's somebody I follow on YouTube, Yona Yinton. And she goes out she's in northern Sweden, and she goes out, busts a hole in the ice in her lake near her, and she gets in, her and her husband get in this freezing cold water. And here I just have my feet dipped in there, and I'm, but so I really admire her. When we would take our spas, our saunas, the shower is connected to the sauna, so it made it easy. And so I would go under the cold water and come back to the sauna. But still, Yana is my hero in terms of being able to subject her body to extreme cold. So I had my Yona moment. So we found the markers, and it was really special for my husband, and he wished we had some sort of clippers so that he could clean up the area a little bit. The trees have grown up around them, the bushes, and just overlooking the Paradise Valley, you are filled with something just so much. You're in a sense of awe, complete awe at the majesty of what I called it in the video was God's own backyard. Just so magnificent and beautiful. I sent a couple pictures to my mom, and she said, "Would you want to live there?" And I said, "No, because I can't take the cold winters. But I'm a California girl, but it's so beautiful to visit." So after that, we drove again toward the park, and we found this little wayside chapel that was just a non-denominational, looks like a Christian chapel, and we decided to stop and go in there, and it was just really cute. I think there were about, 6 seats if you wanted to just come in and take some time to reflect or meditate. And so we came in and checked it out. It was just a cool little place. On our drive further toward, closer to the park, we came across buffalo, technically bison. They're not really buffalo, but we call them that. And they're just so beautiful, and they're everywhere. Some are farmed and some are wild, and some you see are tagged that have perhaps come out of the park. And you see a lot of elk and what else? There was, we saw some gazelles, and they're so cute, but lots of elk. And then we saw this cute little baby elk, and this is in the town of Gardner, and he was just eating at this, little planter area, and he was so cute. Now, we stayed back. As tempting as it is to want to go up and try to pet them, you don't do that in any national park. You leave the animals alone, and you keep a respectful distance, because that's what keeps it wild. You don't want them interacting with humans, and every year you see accidents from people getting charged by the bison, the buffalo, because they think they can come close to them, and you can't. They're wild animals, and they are fast. They're huge, but they are fast and can mow you down in an instant. And so those articles, news articles that I read about people getting close to the buffalo, they anger me. It's like, stay back and observe. So anyway, I zoomed in, but I did not get close to him. So anyway, Gardner is one of the entrances to Yellowstone, and because we had dinner plans with friends that night, we couldn't really go too much further. It was just a magnificent, awesome drive. I made a couple of posts on Instagram about where we were, and someone I follow who follows me back is Donna Lawrence, the author, and I just reviewed her book a couple of weeks ago, Miss Virginia and the Sweet Sisters. Read it. And she sent me an email letting me know that she's got a book of poetry coming out, and one of her poems was about Montana. And the funny thing is when I got that email, my husband and I were searching for words to describe our feelings, to describe the majesty of God's creation there in Yellowstone, in Paradise, in the Paradise Valley in Livingston. And listen to this. She sent me one of her poems, and I asked for permission, and she gave it to me to read it to you, to share it with you. And I really want to, because it just describes it perfectly. The title is Beartooth in the Sky. I love this land, this Montana. Wide open spaces and skies. What a moment this is. The wind in my hair, the freedom I feel, the love from so many is infectious. The welcome of sunshine embraces my soul, and I move so effortlessly, freeing the bonds of constriction. I'm me. All life should be this easy. It should be this glorious too. I should always feel this happy in chasing away the blues. But sadly, I must depart with memories in my heart. I will always ache for the music in the song Montana sings. Oh. When I read that, I got chills, and I just had to stop. And I sent her a thank you for that, because it was just like divine timing. So anyway, it was just beautiful. I love Donna Lawrence and the way her mind writes. And like I said before, she's just a consummate artist with words, a complete wordsmith. So anyway, we went back and met with friends, and we went back to the Hotel Baxter at Ted's Grill and had a lovely dinner, talking for hours with friends. My husband hadn't seen these particular friends for like 49 years. So it was really great listening to them catch up. And if you know someone who's a lifelong friend, it's nice being on the outside watching them compare, oh, do you remember so-and-so, and do you remember when this happened or that happened? And I just enjoyed listening to them so much and getting to know them, and of course them getting to know me. And so that was it. Came home, took another hot sauna, took another one in the morning, and then packed up and headed back to the airport. The weather was starting to get cloudy again, and I hear they had snow after we left. But again, just walking through the airport, it's so wonderful and cozy in there with fireplaces, and you just feel like you're in a big lodge, a big cabin. And we got on our flight, flew back home through Denver, and it was just the perfect visit. I think we were 4 or 5 days. And so that's it. I just wanted to share this trip with you and let you know where I've been. And I thank you for all your comments on my Instagram page. And I enjoy your messages about my travels when I was traveling. So I will sign off for now. Thank you for watching and listening to a little travel blah blah blah. In a few weeks we're going to be in Europe, so I'm excited about that. And I will bid you peace now. I bid you wellness. And of course I bid you so much love. I will see you in the next video. Be well. Goodbye for now.